Hello and welcome to Taking Charge. I'm your host, Marilyn Fierro, and I am very pleased to introduce today Sifu, yes, as a Kungfu instructor, Cynthia Rothrock, and today movie star, very well known, and many years ago, competitor. I can't even use that word competitor because when Cynthia showed up in a ring that I had to compete in, we thought, oh no, we weren't even in the same ballpark, more or less same room. But it was fun, it was an experience, and I have to say that for 25 years or so ago, you always had that grace and the beauty, and there was a charisma about you that said you're going someplace. And that time I thought maybe to the top of the tournament circuit, never expecting it to go as far as it did. So I'm kind of proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
It's so great.
Thanks.
And maybe you can share with our audience that transition, because I remember you competing on the East Coast in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, and then next thing I heard, oh, Cynthia, it's okay, good, we can compete now because Cynthia's in California. So that's nice. I'm happy for Cynthia. I'm happy for me. And then we heard you were in the Orient, in China. So why don't you share a little bit about this?
I lived in Pennsylvania, so I was competing all along the East Coast, and I wanted to compete professionally, and one of the instructors that I wanted to work with lived in California. So I started traveling from Pennsylvania doing the professional circuit, and this was in 1981, and I became #1 in forms. So people started inviting me to their tournaments and paying my expenses, and I got invited to go to California. And I said, well, I'll go there for 1 month. And I always wanted to go to California. I wanted to go to college there, but my mother wouldn't let me. She was like, no, that's too far away. It's going to fall in the ocean. So I was like, okay. So this was my chance. And I was there for a month and said, that's it. I'm going to stay here. And I opened up a school. I competed professionally for 5 years. And then I wanted to retire after 5 years because I was undefeated, and I thought that was a hard record to break, and it was a lot of pressure on me because everybody was waiting for me to lose. And I would go to China, I'd go to Taiwan, I'd go to Hong Kong just to get better and better so I could keep on top of everybody else. So after the 5 years came, I was on the West Coast demonstration team, and they heard that they're holding auditions in California for a new Bruce Lee. So they said, well, why don't you bring Cynthia and, a couple of the other girls anyway, even though they're looking for a guy. So we went down, everybody auditioned, the girls did, and they said, oh, we're going to sign her up. So that was how I got involved in the film industry. It was sort of by accident. It wasn't something I was seeking. I actually came to California for the martial arts, but then my first film, which was in June of '85, I thought, well, I'll do one film. It'll be an adventure. I'd be on a poster. I could show everybody and say, look what I did. I never thought it was going to go into a career. And after I did the first film, it broke all box office records in Hong Kong. So I got offered to do another one. So I did the second one, and then I said, you know what, this is a good transition. I'm not going to compete anymore. So now I'll go into films as a career. So that's kind of how the acting got started.
And what kind of training do you do? Then you continue to train your martial arts, obviously. What kind of a regime would you have if you were working on a picture?
It was sort of different. After I retired from competition, when I was competing, I would train at least 8 hours a day. I would be trained. I had a martial arts school, so I was always at the school. I trained by myself in the morning for a couple hours. I trained with my students. I trained after my students, and that's all I would do is live, eat, sleep, drink martial arts. I would never go shopping if I was somewhere else. I would, like if I was touring a city, I'd go to martial arts schools. When I retired from competition, it was almost like, okay, now I could do yoga, now I could play tennis, now I could do other things. So I went off on to do other things. I always kept my martial arts, but I wasn't as into it as that, because now it sort of let open doors to do other physical sports. So now what I do is I do a combination of everything. I still do my martial arts. I'm actually wanting to start learning Chen Tai Chi. I'm looking for someone that lives in my area that I feel qualified enough to teach me. So that's my next goal. So I think my whole life I'll always be studying martial arts, and it's just always, going to be a part of my life.
I was going to say, would you agree that once it's in your life, it's in it? It's never going anywhere. It's part of your life forever.
Yeah, definitely. And I know a lot of people, sometimes they get away from it, but it's funny, they always eventually come back into it. So I think, and it's not just, in the martial arts, it's just the feeling you get, the overall well-being of health, and, and the positive attitude and everything. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Well, this is what, when we're working with the kids in the school and we're talking about what martial arts does for you in the overall, through life, And what you talked about before with the group of students over there, how your self-esteem from the martial arts helped you to get past those bad times in the movies and interviews. And there are times that are really tough, and we have to draw on something within ourselves. And one of the things, too, is that 25 years ago, there weren't too many women in the martial arts. At that point, we weren't too welcome any place to go ahead and compete or to train in this man's world. So there's something that's inside that says, don't tell me what I can't do. I want to go out there and try it anyway and keep giving it my best and show you I can be the tops at this. What is it that you drew upon at that point?
Well, I think it was just from doing martial arts, not to give up, to always strive to be better and better, and to set a goal. And that's what I always did. I set a goal to be number one. I set a goal to be good in movies. And like you said, it was very hard. When we were competing, there weren't women's divisions weren't divided. I always compete against the men for grand champion. I never competed in a women's weapons division. For Karate Illustrated, I was the first woman on the cover. Same thing when I got into films. It was a man's world. You know, it was like, well, yeah, she's great, but let's just use her as a girlfriend, and we'll use so-and-so as the lead, you know. And I'm still breaking that barrier, you know, opening, and I feel I've opened doors for women. I mean, now there's a lot of women on martial art covers. You know, when I was training, I would go to places like Alaska, and they'd say, oh, you can wear lipstick in martial arts? And it's like, yes, you can. It's like, you know, you're still a woman, you're still feminine. You know, it's not, you know, it was so a stereotype that martial arts was for men, and it wasn't. And I think, you know, at that time, we just had to, you know, show people that it wasn't. And now I think there's just much more and more women involved, realizing that not only is it a good self-defense system, but it's one of the most perfect ways you can get your body in physical condition. When I was going over to do Hercules, I thought, oh my God, they're gonna make me look beautiful, I'll have a long wig on, beautiful costume, and they go, this is your wig. And I was like, oh no. I thought they were kidding. I was ready to cry. I thought, okay, I'll just make it a character, right? So I put this really ugly wig on. Well, what happened is, because my hair was really long at the time, they had to pin it down really tight, and they had a band on it. And I had to wear this maybe like about 14 hours a day, right, at least. So all of a sudden I start getting a really bad headache, and I was going, oh, and I kept saying, all I want to do is rip this wig off and rub my head, you know. It was driving me crazy. It was almost like that feeling like there's something eating your brain. And when they finally took it off, I had an indentation, like about a half an inch, and the next day my forehead was all bruised. It was on so tight. And then they said, okay, we're not going to put that band on.
Did you have a problem in the beginning on the transition, the desire to hit as a martial artist you were used to hitting?
Oh, when I first started, I had with movies?
Well, yeah, right, not
yeah. Oh, okay, I thought you meant when I first started martial arts.
Oh, we all did.
Yes,
Yeah, boy, I want to hit somebody till I get it under
yeah, I did. Actually, when I first did my film, I started off in Hong Kong, so they hit really hard. So I heard constantly, Cindy, more power, and I remember the first night I was shooting, I had to come back and elbow this guy who didn't have a pad on because he had a little muscle shirt. They were going, Cindy, more power. He's going, oh, please, no more power. And I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? And I was like, I had a hard time, you know, hitting hard. But then you get used to it, because over there, they hit a lot more hard than you would hit in an American film. And then when I made the transition from Hong Kong to America, I was hitting stunt people too hard. They're going, whoa, take it easy. I'm sorry, that adjusting.
So as often as you're focusing, like you said, just to the face, a lot of times you are making contact. Is it body contact?
No, it's mostly body contact, but eventually, sometimes you do have to hit to the face, especially, you don't see it too much over here, but in Hong Kong pictures, and because they want to see the contact in slow motion, they want to see the sweat coming off. And it wasn't that difficult for me to hit someone, because I knew I wasn't hitting them that hard. It was more difficult when I knew someone had to like kick me in the face or hit me, because you have to look like, I remember coming around this corner here, and I knew someone was going to hit me in the face with a stick. And you can't flinch, you can't, you know it's coming, but you can't make it, you know. And I hated those shots. I hated like getting hit in the face.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. I think that you set a wonderful example for women through the movies and through your career, and just following along with it. So I thank you very much, and thanks for speaking with us.
Oh, thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, first thing I want you to do is just like roll your neck around and back. We're going to be doing some punches, and whenever you're, like say maybe if you do go to audition for a film, or you're going to do something, it's very important to do the neck, because what we'll be practicing today is taking a punch, how to do a perfect reaction to the punch, and if your neck isn't totally loosened up, you're whipping your neck around like about 20, 30 times. You're going to feel it tomorrow. So it's really, really important to stretch the neck out. Okay, feet together, and just interlock your hands behind you. Now, a lot of people, I find when they're stretching, have a tendency to not really stretch out the back, and that's very important, especially as you get older, because that's one of the first things that will make you tight. And I find a lot of people stretch wrong. When I first started martial arts, I was stretching wrong too, and it took a long time, been studying for a real long time, how to get it right. Now, what I want you to do is you're going to pull your shoulders back as far as you can. Now, if you can interlock your palms, so your palms touch together, that's going to get maximum stretch into your shoulders. A lot of times we do a lot of punching and a lot of hand techniques, and it tightens up the shoulders, and we really need to stretch them out to get them back. So keep in mind, if you can keep your palms together, if not, think of getting toward that. Keep your legs straight, and very slowly, just bend forward. Keep your back as straight as you can, and bring your hands over your head, and hold that position there. The idea is, eventually, I can't do it, I have seen people do it, is touch your hands to the floor over your head. I mean, that's the extent of flexible shoulders, so just keep that in mind. And like I said, I do see people that can do that. There you go. You feel that difference there?
Yeah.
That's it. Good. See, you must have went about 6 more inches there. See that? Good. Good. Now keep the back straight. Keep in mind when you're stretching, don't bounce. And back flat, stomach in tight. Okay, and slowly come up and stretch it out a little bit. Okay, do you feel how that really pulls in there? So that's why if you go like this and you go like that, you can see the difference in your shoulders, like here or to here. It'll pull it back. Okay. Let's see, we'll just do a couple of stretches for the legs, and then we'll go into splits and hips, because that's what, some of the people wanted to do. We're just going to do a series of strength exercises. What I want you to do is take your left foot forward and your right foot at a 45-degree angle, and bend this leg sharp. Right. Everybody, let's all do it at the same angle. So everybody bring your left foot facing that way. That's it. Now hands out. We're also going to work the shoulders. Now, Carl, you want to demonstrate? What I want you to do is bend your front leg as sharp as you can. We're working on endurance and strength, so this isn't going to be a position that's going to feel good. You want to get to the point where it feels a little bit of tension in your leg. Now your back leg, you're going to push completely straight. I don't want any legs bending. You're going to push back, and we're also working the arms. So keep the arms out straight, look over your left hand, the hand facing the front, and stretch. Right, bend your front leg sharply. All right, now breathe out and keep your stomach in. What I want you to do is take that left hand forward, keep the knee bent, try to touch your palm to the floor. If you can't, do your fingertips, and you're going to bring your other hand up to the ceiling, and you're going to look straight at that hand. Now, as you're doing that, try to keep your butt in a straight line. You don't want to let it stick out. So if I looked at your back leg, I would see, that's it, one straight line. Now, if you can, and it doesn't hurt your neck, look up at this hand. Good. I'm going to twist you a little more. This is also opening up your shoulders, so we're twisting the rib area up, and it's an excellent stretch to work every part of the body. Okay, let me put your butt in. That's it. You feel that difference there? Good. Right. The main thing is your legs are going to be straight. And then you're going to go to where you feel you can go comfortably, all right? This is going to be position 1, if you can get down. Now, when you're doing the split, you want to flex this toe up, because it's going to stretch the back of your calf, and this one's going to go out to the side, and try to keep your legs as straight as you can. Now, if you can't get to that position, you're going to hold it. And where you take it to where you just feel a little bit of a pull. Don't overdo it, because then you'll pull a muscle. And then gradually, you'll go out a little further and inch further. Now, if you could get to this position here, that's 1. Position 2, you're going to take the hands up, and you're going to reach your arms up into that position there. And then, if you could do position 2, we're going to go to 3, which is going to take you to the back stretch, and bring this leg up. Okay, take your left foot in, and your right foot is going to go on top. So your foot is flexed, it's right on top of the other knee. Now some of you might feel this in this position here. Now what you want to try to do is get your legs as flat as you can. if that's what you can do, that's fine, but you want to try to get it flat. Now, you want to get, you see how my foot, your foot is in here. You want to get this foot all the way over to the outside of the knee. It's going to make a big difference. Okay, now keep your back straight. Hold that position there. Okay, and pull this foot out the knee. All right, good. Now, this is good position. Both feet are flat. Then what I want you to do, if you could get to this position here, anybody feel this right now, just sitting here? Okay, if not, take your hands forward and crawl out and try to bring your stomach as close to the floor as you can. But now we're going to go into a little bit about stunts and movie space. The main thing is, like for myself, when I do a movie, right, it doesn't matter how good I am. If the person I'm fighting isn't good, I'm not going to look good, okay? So if you go in for an audition and someone is looking at you to do a technique, they're going to be watching your reactions. And the same thing goes, like you can apply this to when you're doing a demonstration with your school. It's going to look so much better if this person here that's on the other end of the person attacking them looks good. It's an acting job in itself. And this is basically, I found maybe a good 75%. It's not your technique. You don't have to do jump flips, you know, spinning kicks and that. You have to do good reactions, because most of all, when you're first starting out, they're not going to look at you to hire you for a lead. They're going to look at you to play the bad guy or something like that. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to learn how to take a punch, and reactions are very important. If someone was coming in and throwing a punch, a lot of times when you're doing a film, they'll tell you, the coordinator will tell you to throw a punch this way. And you'll go, oh, but I didn't learn that in martial arts. That's not good. Well, in the movies, it doesn't matter. You forget about the martial arts, what works for the camera and what looks good. Most likely, they'll have you come in with a circular punch, and you aim it coming close to the jaw and all the way over. And when you're doing this technique, it's very important for focus, because if you go too high, the camera's going to read a miss. So accuracy is important. So it's very important, if you're going to want to get involved in a movie, is that you learn how to do what they tell you. They'll say, okay, I want you to throw a punch and aim it right to the jaw. Okay, so first of all, okay, he's going to react to this. Now, a lot of times when people are throwing a technique, this person might react too soon, or he might react too late, and then that's not going to work. So basically, you have to kind of see the punch, and when you see the punch coming in, that's when your reaction starts to go. Okay, because a lot of times someone knows, you know what's coming because it's all choreographed and you react to that. Okay, so I'll throw a punch and he'll just react right into there. All right, now the main thing is when you take a punch, doesn't matter, it could be any kind of punch, that your neck is loose. That's why we did some neck exercises. Like I said, it's really important to come in. And you always go in the direction in which the technique is going. The same thing could be a kick. I could be coming in kicking, and then that's the same way the head is going. Also, you have to react like it's painful. And then, say I throw a punch, and then another guy comes in, and I'm doing something else, right? Well, a lot of times you see this person over here standing there waiting to come in and throw the other attack, right? Which, especially on film, doesn't look good. The director will say, cut. You have to kind of be acting like, oh, you're in pain until you're ready to come in.
I think a lot of people come
and you're just going to let it go. Just let it go.
I think it's a lot more realistic.
That's it. Good, good.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay, good. Now more facial reaction, like if it was painful.
It's hard to, look at this. Yeah. And back up when you're...
That's it. Good. Okay, now try 2 punches. Punch him, and then once you see his react, you're definitely your hand. Now you're going to go the other side. Because remember, you're always going the direction the punch is going, right? That's it. And now try it on the second punch. Yeah, I can see that. Let's see if fall first. Good, that's it. Don't be afraid to use pads. I've seen so many actors say, oh, you know, it's okay, I can take it, right? If you're going to go on the ground, I mean, this is good because we're on carpet, but you might be out on the street, you know, make sure you have knee pads on, make sure you have elbow pads on. If you're going to get kicked in the chest, make sure you have chest protector on. It's really, really important. Don't try to be the macho person, because you might end up saying, yeah, I can take that. then you know, if you're working with Jackie Chan, you get 60 takes on one movie, on one little thing. After, you know, 30, it's going to start hurting. So I wish I had a pen. And there's nothing worse than saying, excuse me, can I go and put a pad on once you start it? You have to be prepared right away. Nice, that's it, that's it. Switch. That was really helpful. Good. Your second hip was much better than the first. A lot more soul at the bottom.
It's even full. Right?
Good. Nice, nice. Good roll. Now, your punches look weak. Remember, my camera's on you, right? He's looking good, and now you're not. So you've got to look at you. You've got to be really, really strong. Good. Nice. Now, if you were going to get kicked into the stomach, right? How would you do that? Right. Give him time to do it, right? Remember, you've got to give him time to react. Kick now. Okay, no. What'd you do? See what you did? What'd you do? You did? Right. Okay, let's try the kick reaction. That's it. Good. Now, look at it, right? So, see, you're not flying away from the kick. You're going down because you're in pain. And then he's coming in with the punch. Much better. See how that works? That's it. Good. That was a nice combination.
You gotta show them the back on that, right?
Okay, so when you get done, right, what are you going to do?
Yeah, full on that last one.
You got to go into your fight stance, right? Okay, try it again, try it again, try it again, try it again. Okay. Okay, again, go slow first. Okay, see, you didn't even do anything when he punched it, right? So remember, you got to move. Go. Right, now. Yeah, see? Much better. No, try it again. Right, okay. That's it. Much better. About very easy combinations, right? It was just like a couple punches, couple kicks. But you can see when you try to put everything together, it's not as easy as it looks. So if you look at some of the movies, and you, especially like if you watch martial law, and you see Sammo Hung, or you see, you know, some of those guys, they do really complicated moves. You know, where especially a lot of times you'll see, especially the Chinese guys, are on wires. So it's very, very critical for you to get your reactions right. For those that want to get in film, the best thing is to do is to get a headshot. Does everybody know what a headshot is? Now, Carl, do my bag.
When you say on wires, what do you mean on wires?
A lot of times, like, you know, Jackie Chan, when he does like a lot of triple kicks or something like that, they're on a wire. And the wire lifts them up, but you don't see the wire. But the timing has to be so critical because it's not that easy, because if you don't jump the same time the wire is lifting you, you get this kind of weird feeling and you're bouncing around. So the person, if you react wrong, you know, then it's not too cool, because people kind of get upset because you know, messed up and they got to do the wire thing again. But they do a lot of wire work, and it's happening more and more now, because you see with Lethal Weapon 4, Jet Li, you know, they're using all that, like the Chinese style, you know, from the old Chinese movies is starting to catch on, so people. This is a headshot, right? I think I have another one too. Yeah, so you can see a difference. I mean, there's different ways you could do it. It could be, see, this has a border on, and this is just, but what it is just a shot of your face. And then on the back, you'd put a resume. What a resume is basically what you've done. Right now, probably nobody has done anything, so you can kind of put, I don't know if you've been on any TV shows doing demonstrations or something, if you've had any acting classes, that's the best thing. But what happens is then you got to try to find an agent or a manager to submit you for parts, right? And what happens is once they get your picture, they'll look at it, no, okay, good, and they'll just go like that. So that's why it's important to have a good picture with a good look, right? Because they'll look at it and go yes or no, right? So that's the first thing you got to do, is you have to get that. That's why, like, you know, I said, you know, who's interested in films, if you have that, you know, you can give it to me and I'll pass it to doing a film. I start November 24th, and it's in Toronto though, but, you know, you never know. You never know, right? You never know. So you need that, and you need a resume. The next thing you do is you try to find an agent or a manager. You do need an agent to get into it. You need a good shot, and Sometimes it helps if you have a reel, a demo reel, if you do martial arts, because then maybe you can't show your best skills, but it's on film, and if they're really interested, you should maybe like no longer than 3 minutes, because then they'll get bored and shut it off of your best stuff, your best thing. Another very important thing is to take acting classes, if you're serious about it. Are you doing that?
No, I definitely would have to. You know, I got to steal it, or I went
Yeah.
on the back of a resume and you don't have any acting experience.
Yeah, and it's good to have on there, but you know what? It makes you more comfortable. If you go out for an audition, and then they'll say, okay, here, I want you to read this page or these 2 pages, you're going to be really, really nervous and not do good. I mean, even how many films I've done, like over 40, I still get nervous if I have to go on an audition. It's just something you just got to, you know, deal with. The more classes you take, the more comfortable you'll feel reading in front of someone like that. So that's an important thing to do, because right now everybody is like really good martial artists, you know, so that the martial arts skills is there. It's just now the other things you got to work on, the acting, the pictures, and all that other stuff. And when you're first starting out, it's not easy. You know, you think, oh yeah, I'm gonna get an agent. It's not easy. A lot of people out there first will say, are you in the union? No. Oh well, then I don't know if I want to, you know, represent you. You know, so to get in the union, you have to do a union job. You know, so the only way you can kind of do it is basically if someone knows you and they're so impressed with your work that they'll hire you over a non-union actor. And then what will happen is they'll hire you, which is called Taft-Hartley. You'll get in, and then you can sign up into the union, you know. But it's kind of tricky. The best thing I found for people that want to get in is if you can find a stunt coordinator, and some people teach stunts, that's a good thing to do. Because not only will it help you like with martial arts, but they'll teach you how to do other things like high falls or, you know, other stuff like that, which will help you get other jobs and say, oh wow, you could do a high fall here, you know. And one thing I think a lot of martial art people think, oh, I could do stunts, but it's a totally different ballgame. You don't learn how to fall off a 20-foot building in martial art classes. You know, there's a big difference. So that's a good thing. And plus, your stunt coordinator is the person that hires you on movies. So if you could work with one, and then he likes you, he'll get you in, and then he'll.
He's like almost an agent in that sense.
He hires the fighters. So in other words, like say they're doing Lethal Weapon, okay, the producers will hire all the main people, okay, and then it's like, okay, we need like 6 guys to fight Mel Gibson here. Well, the stunt coordinator will then hold an audition, you know, or he'll bring in people he's worked with and say, okay, I'm going to hire these guys because they're not the main characters, you know, to go in. So that's a good way to get involved in films. Also, another way is you can be an extra on set. And I'll tell you, it's not bad. I don't know what they pay. It pays like $75 to $100 a day, right? And even kids, you could do it. You could be, you know, like little kids, right? And you're around how filming is, and you get to see what's going on, and you get to make connections. Sometimes, though, you know what? When you're first starting out, you can't have an ego. It might be, well, you know, there may be pay, there may not be pay. We'll give you a tape, but you know what? You have to get experience, and you have to get something on your thing. So don't say, oh yeah, I don't want to do it because there's no money. It's just really invaluable training for you to do something like that. And then you never know, if you do something like that, then this director might come and do another picture and say, hey, this guy was really good, and he worked well, and now I'm going to do a bigger budget picture, you know, and then call you to do it. And that happens a lot. Like you work with someone and they like your work, they'll call you again, you know, to do it. And the main thing is if you are working with someone is to be nice, try not to have attitude. What you want to do is try not to hit the actor. A lot of times they don't like that.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, that's a very good thing. Because sometimes you'll get nervous and you're on the set, you got, okay, 6 moves. And a lot of times they'll show you the moves right before you're going to shoot. Unless you're on a big budget production, then they'll say, okay, we're going to practice this. But they'll say, okay, I want you to do punch, block, spinning back kick, you know, sweep. Okay, and then they'll give you you'll get about 5 minutes to work on it, right? But not that much. And then all of a sudden you hear action, you know, and then you're like, and you got to do it. So the thing is, you got to relax and take your time because I've seen a lot of people get really hyper and nervous, and they start going boom, 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 like that, hitting the guy, you know, and I've had this one guy that got so nervous, I had like all these pads on, and I swear he hit me in every spot there wasn't a pad, you know, because he was like just so nervous to do it. So the main thing is, you know, you got to relax. But the thing is just, you know, always, you know, believe in yourself and you just keep trying. So, all in all, though, if you do get something that's fun, and just even if you have the opportunity to work on a film, even if you don't want to become a movie star, you learn a lot, and it's a good adventure. Like when I first did my movie, I wasn't thinking I was going to do a lot of movies. I thought, hey, this is an adventure. I'm going to Hong Kong. I'm going to have my picture on a poster. I'm going to do a movie. I'm going to have a movie to someday show my kids and say, look what I did, you know. And it just went into a career. Yeah. Anything else? Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. And hope you've learned a little bit. Remember on the stretching, you know, one thing I said is really remember the back. Let me just show you something real quick. Like, you know, like say, for example, if you're doing this kind of stretch, you see a lot of people do that. Keep your back straight and go down. That's much better. It'll get all your muscles. And I think a lot of people, like, you know, deal with, oh, I look better because I'm going down further. But it's not that. It's mainly keeping your back straight and you'll stretch everything even more. Okay. All right. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you.